Thank you for the both of you, Igal and Franco. It was extremely insightful and extremely important session. Now, let's delve into a panel discussion titled No More Crises. Moderated by ByteLaw Cornelius, Cyber Crisis COO at Code Blue by Dusman. The panel will feature security leaders from various industries. Please welcome to the stage Ohad Meshulam, Director of National Resilience at INCD, Alberto Hasson, VP CISO at ICL, Avital Lonke, Head of Information Security at Diplomat, Dirk Koch, Partner at ByteLaw, and Schuricht, Cybersecurity Expert at Code Blue by Dusman. Please, Kader.
So, welcome to the No More Crisis panel. It's not me. In today's digital age, a cyber attack is not a possibility, it is a certainty. Attacks will happen, we heard it a lot today, it's just a matter of time. The tricky thing is, or the game changer is to be prepared for a crisis and to recover fastly and swiftly. And awesome. We have several experts here from different domains, sectors, and industries. And let's deep dive into be ready to be prepared, how these industries and domains will cover this, and what their insights are. And I would start with Ohad, giving you experience. National critical infrastructures. So how could these organizations ensure to swiftly recover in an event of a cyber attack today?
Well, I can speak about our role in this matter. First problem that I can identify is limitations of imagination. So board of directors mostly do not really believe that a disaster will happen. They know that a cyber attack will happen, but they don't really get the disaster part. That's where we come in to convince them with relevant intelligence. And you can't just speak in broad terms about cyber attacks. For example, if you're talking about dealing with the blood bank, you have to give them intelligence that is relevant to the blood bank about, for example, how attacks around the world are being orchestrated against blood banks. After you can convince them, then you can see the proper monetization. The second thing that we do is backups, of course, but not only DR and offline backups and online, also cloud backups. And it might sound strange that we are the National Cyber Directorate approving to put our crown jewels in the cloud, but and just take my word for it, we did it very safely. But it's so important because it happens all the time, and when it happens, we need to do it. If it wouldn't be fast and simple, we just wouldn't be able to do it. The third point is drills, but not only tabletop drills. Also, I call it like flipping the switch drills. I mean that in a given moment, we're just flipping the switch. And we're not just trying to get the technology to work. We also trying to get the people to geographically move to the DR location and see that everything is functioning, everything is functioning properly. And that's, I have to say, I might be underselling the technology part. Technology is very, very important. This is, a continuation of that. So with that in mind, this is how we're preparing for this topic.
Interesting. Great points. Avital, so there are a lot of elements in regards of preparedness. So to recover quickly from a cyber incident, what would you say are the most critical elements we should or someone should focus on?
Hi. Well, it's very difficult to choose the most critical because it's an endless and continuous process to prepare your business continuity program. So if I had to choose three, I would say, first of all, have a valid reference scenario, because when you start working with your BCP program, you can do a lot of tasks and address a lot of subjects and then have nothing in your hand when you are actually attacked the next day. So be sure that you're closing circles. You have a very valid general reference scenario, you finish preparing for this scenario, and then you fine-tune it and find other branches and then prepare for them. Because otherwise it's like working for nothing for a long time and not having any valid program in your hand. The second is define your business goals, because if you ask different CEOs, what is a quick recovery, you will have different answers. So ask your CEO, what is a quick recovery? What are your business expectations? This will help you as a CISO or a CIO fine-tune your program and make sure that you direct your efforts into the business goals. And the third, and I'll repeat it, plan, simulate, learn, and plan again. Have these circles of continuous planning and simulating, because otherwise the technology and the threats are going beyond you.
Thank you very much. So let's talk about legal. Dirk, so there must be always legal preparations. Regarding a quick recovery, what is your opinion, your expertise in there? What would you share with us?
Well, I think it's always legal. Everyone leaves a little bit out in the beginning when they start with business contingency planning, when they start with preparations for recovery and a fast recovery. But I think a key element goes under the top title of documentation in the end. Because what we try to do as legal is not to hurt your feelings or try to make you move slower or something by asking you questions in between. What we try to do is to make your decisions in a crisis more secure, more less liable for the company, and actually get a foundation for your decisions and making those decisions secure for future appearance of the company. So a big part of that is documentation, because after an incident, people have a lot of questions about what you do and when you did it. So the question is, did you document it by the time? Because you probably will not have all the knowledge in the crisis at the moment you make the decision that you will have 6 months after the crisis. So it's a big key part, having a good documentation. That's one part of it. The other part is preparedness. You need to prepare. You need to know your contracts. You always focus on the business part of your contracts. You focus about what you're manufacturing, how much you pay for it, and when it's due paying. What you're not focusing about is does that business partner trust you after an incident? Maybe the business partner is also reliant to reconnect to you, reconnect to your payment providing systems, reconnect to your ordering systems, EDP systems, all those kind of systems you're not secure or might be deemed not secure anymore. Have you any notices in your contract? Have you any informational duties in your contract? Have you limits to the information you give your business partners? How much you want to have them see about your system, et cetera, et cetera. So there are a lot of things you need to be thinking about before you do that, and look at contracts from a different perspective, because a crisis perspective is a totally different perspective than a business perspective would be.
Okay, thank you very much. Kai, someone who fought a lot of incidents around the globe, and you've been on-prem with a lot of customers and with incidents. What you did see and experience, what would you say is the most effective, or are the most effective preparedness measures for organizations to recover after such an attack?
Well, I think the most, as you already mentioned, it's quite difficult to summarize it in some points, but I think firstly is to conduct proactive threat hunting, to identify vulnerabilities and threats before they get exploited by the threat actor. And not only do this once a time, do it on a regular basis, do it on plans and processes. And that brings me to the next point, incident response plans. This is also we discussed, we heard in the previous panels. And to have a detailed and actionable incident response plan is really crucial because the incident response team, the team or the SOC members, they need to know what they have to do based on the defined cyber risk scenarios in our plans. That means also we need to define in how do we communicate in an incident, even if we cannot communicate anymore because our communication infrastructure is compromised. What to do in case of time aspects. We know time is crucial in any investigation, so we need to define time metrics like time to detect, time to triage, time to investigate, time to confirm, whatever. And also one thing is to have the incident severity defined based on the different levels, as well as the encoding playbooks we need. As we have seen in the last years, of course, we have ransomware attacks, so we need playbooks, how we respond to ransomware attack, data breach, parameter breach, lateral movement. And also one big point is that we test that on regular basis, that all the incident response teams know in a secure environment to simulate an incident, a huge incident maybe, and then to plan the test to find out are there any gaps and at least to fix the gaps in the plans. So once the simulated attack comes reality, then they're ready to go.
Thank you, Kai. So let's deepen the discussion a little bit and let's talk about national regulations. Are they enhancing companies or prepare them for a quick recovery, or are they enough? What is your opinion?
As a regulator, I would really hope so, and I think that we do impact that very very much. Not only in having the proper procedures to have the proper allocation of resources in order to deal with a cyber attack, but also in our guidelines. We have enough procedures to administer proper IR team, also inside team, and contracts with outside teams. And of course, our role in it is to have our own IR team, which is can do things that the outside, like the Israeli IR companies, cannot do. For example, we collaborating with people all over the world and with agencies in Israel that not only have the proper intelligence that companies in Israel don't have, but also the proper technology. And sometimes a technology that you simply cannot find outside. It's sometimes we have technology that we ourselves wrote and established. So that's our role in it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So we are working or doing business worldwide. So globalization is a very important point, and a lot of companies got subsidiaries or other parts of the company in other countries. And if you speak about multinational companies, would you say there's a difference to be prepared across different regions in regard of a cyber attack, Avital?
Yes, definitely. First of all, I think that running a multinational company adds a significant level of complexity because you have to be prepared in the same aspects in different scenarios and different levels. So you have, on one hand, to understand very good the local aspects of your business units regarding business processes, threat maps, legal considerations such as regulation and contractual constraints, compliance with the global policies that we created for information security, and full IT visibility. Make sure that you see your local IT as well as you see your global infrastructure through monitoring and controls. And finally, stakeholder management, because you have different stakeholders in different geographies and you have to keep them close and aware and regulated. And on the other hand, you have to create a good process of orchestrating all these aspects together. And for example, make sure that your communication plan relates to different regulations in different geographies. And on the other hand, make sure that you issue the right notifications to regulators on time according to their regulation and so on. So you have to have a local response plan, which is very valid and aligned with local constraints. And on the other hand, orchestrate it with your global plan, which is usually very centralized IT services and hosting.
Okay.
And again, plan, simulate, learn, and plan.
Sounds like you need a lot of frameworks, and I think also legal frameworks. Dirk, can they support companies or organizations or prepare them for a cyber crisis? Are they necessary? Can you name 2 or 3 or something?
Oh, well, the thing is, regulation always gives companies an incentive to actually start thinking about cyber, to start thinking about how to be better prepared. Regulations never are filled 100%, which we can't reach anyways, but never filled up to the maximum standard or to the optimal standard to your company. They give you a baseline, they give you an idea of what kind of risk you have to think about, and also public regulation normally targets the broader public as a suspect which they protect. They don't protect your company. Your company you have to protect yourself. That's why there are different regulations coming up in the EU. There are several, I think it's 17 or 19 regulations at all, who all have points which react to cyber. Also, the US has a lot of new regulations coming on and being regulated as also AI and cyber combined. But that's to protect the broader public. It's not to protect your company. If you want to protect your company, you have to take additional measurements and you have to actually apply those regulations to your unique company and adapt. And that is preparation, because you need to do that and you need to look at the regulation and adapt it to your company in the end.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dirk. Very, very interesting. So, Kai, to prepare to protect the company, do you see any overall security measures or any ways to be ready to recover also from a cyber incident? So anything you can do beforehand?
Yes, I think so. I think to accomplish this for organization, they should implement multi-layer security in that way. And to put a level on that. It means also on top threat intelligence information. That means with multi-layer security that can be hardware, software, encompass that with security concepts. And the benefit of that approach is if one layer is compromised, the other layers are still available and can reduce the likelihood of the full attack. And as I already mentioned, to put value on this approach, we can make use of threat intelligence on the technical and non-technical aspects. On the technical, we can make use of it to identify what is the current threat landscape and the attack surface that can be used against the organization. And that means we can also identify a potential attack in the early stage, and we can make according measures against the attack. And on the non-technical perspective, for instance, in crisis mode, we can make use of it for informed decisions. So think of it, heard it today in a lot of discussions, what is the threat actor, what they are doing. So once we have the information, we can make use of it in our crisis situation. We can, as we all asset and define risks. So from that point, we can determine which threats pose the greatest danger to the organization and can make the proactive and protective measures what is currently needed. Mm-hmm. And the most important thing I think here is also the community-driven approach. That means here industry peers needs to work together to share intel information, as at the end we have to fight all together the same battle.
Awesome, thank you very much. So to summarize, train, and protect your own company yourself first, but with legal also. Thank you very much for the insights. Thank you, and thanks for being part of the panel.